on, dogs. Off to the polytunnel. Wow. A bit of stillness, a bit of calm after the crazy mad wind we've had. Now I'm going into the polytunnel to get some bay. I'm going to make a tincture. As you can see, the bay tree has gone absolutely mental and it needs a really good prune. So pruning a shrub and harvesting are pretty interchangeable, really. So the bay is, people use it as a culinary herb for soups and stews and casseroles and things like that, but there's a lot more to it. Historically, it's traced back to the ancient Greeks, and it was dedicated to Apollo, and the oracle at Delphi would burn bay, and the women there would keep it in their mouths. It's supposed to help with their divination. So it's ruled by Apollo, according to Culpeper, and so therefore he would recommend it against any of the ills of Saturn, and Saturn is Father Time. And Father Time brings old age, aches and pains, rheumatics, all those kind of problems. And so because it's a very warming herb, I expect that is why Culpeper recommended it against the issues of Saturn. So I'm going to bring this up to the house now and show you how to make a tincture in 3 easy steps. A few people have been asking about how to make a tincture, and I have done some videos before, demonstrating different things, but this is specifically 3 steps how to make a tincture, or it might be 4 steps. We'll work it out as I'm going along. So you collect your plant material. It can be fresh or it can be dried. It doesn't matter. I prefer to use fresh whenever I can because I just feel, you're getting the living plant. So I've collected bay from the polytunnel because it is a very lovely warming digestive, and with all the eating and the celebrating that's coming up, it might be helpful for some people. It's also very good for aches and pains. It's very good for breaking stones in the urinary tract. It's very good for removing obstructions from liver and spleen and kidneys. It's very good for helping women expel afterbirth when they've had their babies, and multitude of uses, but I'm going to be using it primarily as a digestive aid. So it doesn't matter whether it's bay or whether it's thyme or whether it's any medicinal plant you care to use, it's the same procedure. So I'm going to fill up my jar. Just an ordinary clean jam jar. You can use any jar you like, you just make sure it's clean. And I'm going to put in the bay leaves. I'm just going to chop them up. Smell is wonderful. The bay, it's when you crush the leaf, it just smells divine. It's the most beautiful perfume. And so when you burn it as well, you get a lovely scent, aroma. And it can be very hypnotic. But in folklore, it's also used to repel any evil that might be lurking, whether it's a witch, whether it is some evil entity, or whether it's just negative energy. It's very good at cleansing and dispelling the room or a location. That's just a few fun facts about bay. It's also fantastic in a man's aftershave, and I make an aftershave for Lol every year using bay leaves, and he absolutely loves it. So I also make a digestive bitters and I put in lots of different bitter plants, including bay. And when that's ready, it's lovely to use as an aperitif before a meal, especially if you're having a large meal. So the reason I'm chopping up the bay leaves is because I want to create a huge amount of surface area for the menstruum to extract the medicinal constituents of the bay leaves. If I just put the bay leaves in, it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to be as strong. So I'll just keep chopping until my jar is filled. Now my jar is full of chopped up bay leaves, and I'm going to just move these out of the way. This can be used as a Christmas decoration as well, and be used in all kinds of Christmas crafts because it's lovely. It's evergreen and it has a beautiful aroma. So here is my jar packed with the bay leaves, and I'm now going to choose one of these menstruums. I could choose glycerin if I was making, particularly if you're making a tincture for children, because it tastes nice for them, and particularly if you want to avoid alcohol for children. Or I could use vodka. Now I use vodka because it's a clear spirit and because it doesn't have any taste, and sometimes you might like to see the change of colour to gauge how potent the tincture is becoming. But you could also use whiskey or brandy. It depends what you're doing. When I make the digestive bitter that I mentioned, I use brandy because it's very good for settling the stomach anyway. Alternatively, you could use apple cider vinegar. And again, that's a really good option because it extracts a lot of minerals, making it very nutritious. And it's also good for people who want to avoid alcohol. So they are the three menstruums I would use. And a menstruum is just a liquid that extracts the medicinal constituents from the plant. So I'm going to use vodka on this bay leaf tincture. So that's almost to the top. I'm going to top it off with some pure water. And I have a chopstick as well, just to poke down and release any bubbles. So the reason I'm adding a little drop of filtered water is because some of the medicinal constituents will be water soluble, and some will be soluble in alcohol. So I just want to make sure I get a good mix of all the medicinal constituents. So when you have your jar full and you've poured on your menstruum, you then just give it a little poke around to make sure that everywhere is covered and that you release any air bubbles, because you don't want air bubbles in here because it could oxidize. It's very unlikely with the alcohol, but it's just nice to do it. Put on a lid, write your label. So bay leaves. So there it is, I've made a tincture. So I'm going to put this aside for 4 to 6 weeks, occasionally giving it a little shake, not too much. And after that time period, 4 to 6 weeks, you have it ready for straining. After your 4 to 6 weeks, you take your tincture, which has been infusing, and I'm going to strain it out. Some lovely person gave me a fantastic tip of using clothes pegs to hold the muslin in place, because I struggled the last time I demonstrated something like this, and what an amazing tip that was. Thank you so much. So here we go. Just going to strain that through the muslin into a jug. Wow, that's fantastic with the clothes pegs. There we go. Then I'm going to squeeze out the muslin to get every last drop. I have a nice recycled brown medicine bottle. I'm just going to pour it in there. It doesn't matter which herb you've had infusing for 4 to 6 weeks. It's the exact same procedure. This is plantain I'm doing now, but I'll be doing the exact same thing with the bay leaves when they are ready. And if you don't have a brown bottle, you can just put a bit of brown paper around a clear bottle. It's just to help with preserving. I have a little bit extra there. So there, 3 or 4 simple steps, and I'll write them all down below the video, and you can follow them from there. And exciting news, I'll be launching an introduction to herbal medicine for people to make at home. So that will be in January. So keep your eyes posted on the website and on the YouTube channel, because the links will be there. I'm very excited about that. And that's the place where you will learn how to make very simple remedies like this in your own kitchen. And there'll be a lot more to it, of course, because it's going to be a very educational course with some esoteric, lovely plant spirituality thrown in as well. I'm really excited and looking forward to launching that in January. So that's how you make a tincture. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and keep your eyes open for the launch, and see you next week. Bye.